Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Visokii Entertainment Podcast.
Let me tell you something, Gene. Good stuff.
All right, here we go. So this is how we're going to start the podcast, all right? It is Super Bowl week, and in honor of Super Bowl week, we're officially going to see what the matchup is going to be for next year's Super Bowl. So, Charlie and Garrett, you're each going to pick a number between let's make sure we'll keep it kind of short. Pick a number between 1 and 20, and then we'll hopefully get an AFC team and an NFC team, and those will be the teams to face off next year.
19.
So Charlie's picking 19. You're going with what?
I'm going with 7.
19 and 7. All right. Card number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is Cooper Rush. I don't know what team he was drafted by. Is he on the Cowboys?
Cowboys, yep.
All right, so Cowboys will be for the NFC. And 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, Chiefs and Cowboys. There you go. There's the
Cowboys.
That's a game.
Super Bowl next year. You heard it here.
Dude, that's a game. Alex Smith versus Dak Prescott, dude. Too bad. No longer Alex Smith.
Too bad Alex Smith got traded last night.
That happened last night. Look at me not knowing my facts.
Late last night.
How come I didn't get an update about that?
Patrick
That seems like an
Mahomes
NFL guy. I should get.
He's going to the Redskins, and then the Redskins are the Kirk Cousins is apparently going to the Broncos, but the Broncos are tampering. They're illegally talking to Kirk Cousins, so they'll probably be denied him. So Kirk Cousins will end up on the Browns, and they'll go to the Super Bowl.
That would be. Hey, he could be the guy to do it. No, I'm kidding. He could totally rally that team, though. He could definitely get some wins. I don't know if he would do anything more than anyone else has.
Actually, after this podcast, Charlie Garrett, we're going to look through those cards because I bought them all before the season. A bunch of them are rookie cards, as you saw. So we need to see who did good this year. All right. So Raw happened this week. I'll be completely honest. On the scale of if we're grading on did Brady fall asleep or not, the answer was yes. I fell asleep during both episodes. SmackDown pretty quick. I'll be honest. I was out in about 20 minutes.
You know what the weird thing about Raw was? There was a lot less on Raw than there normally is on Raw.
Yeah?
Yeah. There was like, let me look on my thing. I only marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches and segments, and 2 of those were qualifying matches at the beginning of the show that took up probably the first hour, those 2 qualifying matches, would you say? And like whatever promos were in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking the second and third hour are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. That's good for a Raw, but it's just weird,
Yeah,
that's true.
And Raw, I'll be honest, I was dozing in and out. SmackDown was a full on. Watched the opening segment. First match started. Fell asleep. Woke up and some other TV show was on. Whatever's on after SmackDown. And I was like, whoa. It's like 10:30, and I was like, well, time to be all groggy and just wander into my bedroom. All right. So, Raw happened this week. This was fresh off the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. We also had the NXT pay-per-view. We don't necessarily need to review both of the shows or anything, but I think we can agree that well, you know what? Royal Rumble pay-per-view was a very, very good pay-per-view. Yeah. I will give them that, and I think especially the men's Rumble match itself was one of the better Rumble matches I've seen in quite a while.
Oh, yeah, that was very good.
The women's match was kind of a Foster cluck, but we all kind of saw that coming with all the people coming back. It was more of like an homage to a bunch of the older wrestlers.
It was a fun watch, but it had, there were some things that were just weird.
And then we went off air a little predictable with Ronda Rousey coming out, but that's cool. I mean, do either of you guys take serious offense to her being in the WWE? I know some people do.
Hell no. I think that's exactly what they needed. Maybe they'll start paying attention to the women's more and not just book them in tags like they have been on SmackDown for the past 9
come on. I love 6-man tags, 6-woman tags.
I mean, I think we're on like 9 months now. Alexa Bliss hasn't defended her title in 3 months. That's insane. But Naomi had to give it up after a week.
Ellsworth has been hired and fired in the WWE since they've gone to that formula.
It's insane.
Garrett, what do you think about Ronda Rousey?
I hate Ronda. No, I'm kidding. I think anybody that wants to try and wrestle can wrestle if they want to. I don't think we should just automatically assume that like this isn't going to go well for one reason or another because she's not like a wrestler. Like,
Well, she's been training for over a year now.
you could have said the same things about Brock Lesnar as an amateur wrestler or any of the other guys like Shelton Benjamin or Chad Gable or Jason Jordan or Kurt Angle or any of them.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing about when Ken Shamrock came to the WWE originally. You know what I mean? Like, there's a million guys you could say, oh, these guys shouldn't have been in the WWE because they weren't wrestlers. But a lot of them worked out. I mean, you know, and so why we always just write them off, I don't know. Because people like to take offense. I don't know. I think it's people purposefully trying to get offended here at this point. Like,
I agree. And it was a bunch of the people that, oh, she's stealing Asuka's spotlight away because Asuka won the Rumble and whatever. Yes, a little bit of that, and she was a little awkward out there, but it's hard because Ronda Rousey's character is supposed to be that she's like baddest woman on the planet. She's a Mike Tyson of women. And she came out and she was so damn happy to just be out there and finally be in the WWE that there was no way she wasn't going to be smiling ear to ear. So it's just a tough situation for her to be in. But she is a pay-per-view juggernaut. She is going to sell a lot of tickets. The report was that she signed a full-time deal, but there's no chance in hell she's going to be a full-time wrestler. She will come, you know, here and there. She'll probably be there a little more than Lesnar, especially since she's still learning the ropes. She needs to, you know, she needs to.
Gosh, we heard about her in the Performance Center, what, 3 or 4 months ago? She doesn't have that much time in there. And I think she probably needs to do some time to train herself out of that MMA mindset. You know what I mean?
Although you know that they're gonna do the Shayna Baszler type. They're gonna do what's the chick that just got called up?
No, notice how they've dropped Sonya's MMA gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just.
See, I didn't know that. Okay, well, they're gonna go that route with her. You know, that's the type of wrestler they're gonna go with her. She's basically gonna take over Sonya's character. So, yeah. And then we had the NXT pay-per-view. That was fantastic. I thought that the last 2 matches on the show between Adam Cole and Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano and Andrade Almas were both 2 of the best matches I've seen in quite a long time.
NXT is so good.
They're so good. I do have to say Almas and Gargano, the first 15 minutes was boring the hell out of me. They really needed to pick it up. It was but knowing how long they wanted it to go, because it didn't get over until like 35 minutes after listed end time. So I thought that the match was starting slow and that's all we were going to get. I didn't realize they were going to go so over on time. So I ended up getting pleasantly surprised there. I mean, they're both very, very good. I still don't get excited about Almas. I don't know why. He's just not my favorite character. But, you know, he puts on great matches. So.
Well, he's in a sea of, like, complete studs right now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He would, like, think about it. Bobby Roode felt the same way to you. But now that he's on the main roster, he's a stud. You know what I mean? Like,
I still feel the same way about Bobby Roode on the main roster.
You really don't. You still don't see it, really. You were the one that was parroting that for so long, saying, "Oh, he's going to be good. He's probably going to like him more on the main roster." I'm surprised.
He wrestles more of a main roster style. I always said, but Bobby Roode's just never been my cup of tea. I don't know. There's just something that's not connecting with me personally, but I understand he connects with a lot of people. So.
I don't know if he connects with me. I think he's just like, I love to be Bobby Roode just for a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Raw kicked off with who but Stephanie McMahon to come out and take all the credit for the women. Comes out and introduces.
She invented women's wrestling, Brady. Right. Don't you take that away from her?
Right. They even dropped it during the Rumble. They dropped like one of those lines like, well, she won't tell you this, but Stephanie McMahon played a pivotal role in the women's revolution. It's like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. So Stephanie McMahon came out, introduced Asuka, also talked about Ronda Rousey coming out. But after Asuka came out, they made it all about her and her decision on who she's going to face, either Alexa Bliss or Charlotte Flair. And before she could announce her official decision, she gets interrupted by Sasha Banks, and Sasha's like, I want a match tonight. And so then they make the match, and I was like, hey, I am hashtag down for that match. Were you guys down for the opening segment?
Thought it was cool. I don't know why, but I like when the Japanese wrestlers talk in Japanese at first, and the Spanish wrestlers they'll talk in Spanish at first, and then they'll like change it up. I really like that.
Yeah, as long
Del Rio did it for years.
The issue is that the WWE fans are engraved, like it's engraved in their mind that when a wrestler does that, they're a heel. So I hope that they don't turn on Asuka because they think that she's, oh, what's she talking about us? Because she's talking that damn Japanese.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, she's gonna turn heel eventually anyway. I believe, you know. So maybe that's something eventually when people start to not buy it as much because they're like, maybe when that starts to set in, that's when you do it, and then you just have her just destroy everybody anyway because she can just do that whatever. You know what I mean?
But she seems very comfortable, and Charlie, it seemed like the fans were being very supportive when she switched over to English. That was good, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. She can speak more English than Andrade can. So can Shinsuke. Andrade cannot. That's why they needed Zelina. That was a big part of it.
I almost wonder
trying, but
if it's like something they just have to do because like people in Japan talk about like they just never learn Japanese and they have people that like will regularly be like, yeah, this is what this means, blah blah blah, and like they have ways of communicating in like wrestling without having to be able to necessarily speak the same language, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he was in
Shinsuke's promo.
Brady, if you remember when Del Rio came out, his gimmick was that he had Ricardo Rodriguez as his announcer because he didn't speak English. I wonder if he learned English or something. I don't know. Or if he knew it, he just didn't want to. They wanted to make a gimmick out of it. I don't know.
I think that was back in the day where all of the big time wrestlers had managers still anyway. It was much more prominent. So I think that Vince saw something in him and he knew that was a guy that he wanted to have a mouthpiece for.
That guy was major.
Because he would grab the mic every now and then. I just wondered if it was always like maybe he didn't speak as well, or I don't know, maybe because he was from Mexico. You know?
Yeah.
So great lineage there, you know. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I'm taking up all the time again.
It's all good. Anything else you guys wanted to add about that opening promo? We good?
Thought it was good. Yep. That's it.
Cool. We had a last man standing elimination chamber qualifier. So this was doze off number 1. I dozed off during the commercial. I fast forwarded through it. So anyway, the match started, and then I tuned in. And I was like, whoa, why are these guys facing? And then I didn't know it was last man standing. And then all of a sudden, one of them like hit the other with something, and I was like, "What is the ref just gonna let it fly?" And then the announcers are saying, "Oh, this is last man standing match." It was over very quickly. Braun Strowman grabbed Kane, kicked him a couple times, drug him out to the announcer's table up by the ramp, and turned over the entire side of the stage extension, including the announcer's table, and flipped it over Kane. It was beautiful how they did it. They had the stage like this, and he was standing up, and Kane positioned himself right underneath where the thing was. So when it flipped, he could just roll over about a quarter turn, and none of it would actually touch him at all, even though it was super heavy, you know.
Yeah.
I thought that was beautiful the way they did it.
Braun actually lifted that too.
Yeah, I think so. I think Braun definitely lifted it, which
maybe a slight assist, but I mean, maybe they made it a little lighter because it looked like it was a little shoddier construction than it normally looks like. Like normally,
you can always tell those announcer tables are not very well.
No, but I mean, usually the bottom portions on that part of the stage because that's they usually do a spot through the table and it lands on it. So maybe it's more reinforced. I don't know. There you get like all those plastic things that are like really weird.
I think it was a setup to get the announce table back ringside.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people say that is oh, Braun destroyed our set, so now we have to put our table back next to.
Yeah, I like that they put together like with the pieces of the other table they put together. It looked like they just took the table off the thing,
I mean, with all the changes they're making to Raw, they probably figured, it's better.
True.
And the announcers, Michael Cole's got some pull at some point.
True.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I can't see the wrestlers. I got to just read a script and hope it's right.
And you flat out just can't enjoy the match as much when you're not as close. He's probably a little salty about it. He's like, hey guys, I like being next to the ring.
He likes wrestling, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you went to an NXT show live and you watched Mauro Ranallo literally jumping up out of his chair every time a big moves happen, you would fall in love with Mauro Ranallo so quick, dude. Literally, last time we were there, I was watching Mauro during some of it. And literally on commentary, sometimes you'll catch shots of people going, oh my God, but they're just kind of sitting there. And Mauro Ranallo literally, when he gets excited on commentary, he literally jumps out of his seat. And he like was standing there during the last tapings. It was awesome.
I never understood the Mauro hate. I call him Bacho Ronaldo because he does make mistakes sometimes, but it's okay. I never understood why people. I mean, I guess people didn't like him, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
he's not a man's man. He doesn't go out and rib all the other people, and he doesn't. He's not into the practical jokes and the immature kind of humor stuff. So, I think the fact that he's so professional is that the WWE. I think the guys backstage are usually more laid back than that, and it might rub them the wrong way.
The man's been commentating over in Canada as long as ever. I mean, he's commentated MMA fights. You know what I mean? He was on the list of people to commentate McGregor versus Mayweather. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he ever did that, but I'm pretty sure he was on the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he called it.
Yeah, he called it. He called it.
He called. There you go. The guy called that match. That should tell you everything right there. I mean,
true.
He's a professional in every way.
Right.
But
we got a Bucks fan. He says, "Why does Corey Graves keep bad-mouthing Sasha Banks? Does she have backstage heat?"
There are rumors that she has. The thing is, Corey Graves, like no matter if someone is a face or a heel, if he hates them, he will just constantly hate them. He hated Enzo when Enzo was a face, then he hated Enzo when he was a heel. And Sasha, he's always been the same way. But I know what you're talking about. It seems like the hate is maybe getting a little it's a little more hate than it normally is. It's possible, but I don't know. I haven't heard any specific rumors. Have you, Charlie?
Not that I know of, no.
So
I have heard a lot of stuff about her backstage, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very old school in her thinking, and a lot of the girls don't like it as much. But I haven't heard of any heat with the guys. From what I've heard, all the guys like Sasha. It's some of the other ladies that she rubs the wrong way.
Did you see the Sam Roberts interview forever ago that he did with her, like around SummerSlam or something? And she was literally in that mindset you're talking about. She was saying, like, even her mom calls her Sasha. She's Sasha Banks now. She's not whatever her name is, Ashley, whatever. You know what I mean? She's not that.
Be careful with that. Don't live into the gimmick. Then you end up being Enzo.
But I mean, that's where she's at. That's what she said in the interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we all knew Strowman was going to win this match. I love Strowman. So Strowman goes backstage after, and obviously, like, Kurt Angle wanted to fire him however many weeks ago, and Stephanie was like, "No, you can't fire him," pretty much. And so Kurt Angle does not want Strowman on his show at all.
Yeah, this is so good.
Like Kurt Angle does not like Braun. He's like, "Please stop hurting people." And Strowman's like, "You put me in a last standing match, and I was the last man standing." And I was like, you know what? His logic is sound. He said it's a last man standing match. What are you putting me in a last man standing match for if you don't want me to kill the guy?
True. I've really grown to love this Strowman Kurt Angle thing ever since the SWAT team. And he was like, "I'm going to have to call the SWAT team." I was imagining, I was like, there's no way. Are they going to have literally SWAT guys just standing there pointing?
That would have been the best time ever to have the Shield come out.
God, I hope so.
With the original shields that they talk about in the promos about them having.
SWAT team. I really like their Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman stuff.
This has to be the end of the rivalry, right, Garrett?
I mean, yeah, I would hope so. If not, I don't know what Strowman's going to be doing other than fight Kane.
And I mean, since they kind of made it seem like Kane died, hopefully he's off TV for a little bit. He can come back in a little bit and do some spots. But honestly, I'm sick of seeing him in the championship.
Kane's got to go. Yep, I'm done.
Give him a plaque.
Come out. Let him kill a jobber or whatever, for old time's sake. Charlie, you down for corporate Kane?
Nope, I'm done with him. I don't ever want to see him again, other than when he goes in the Hall of Fame.
And then Charlie's turning the TV off when he gets announced.
I'll listen. No, I like him as a person. He used to be good, man. I watched stuff where he was good.
He's smart. Glenn Jacobs is a smart man.
Yes,
he's not anymore. You know, it's not just an entertaining wrestler in the main event scene when we've had a rough main event scene in the year. I call it this wrestling year. I call it that it was after Mania to the next Mania. That's the wrestling year, and it's been a rough year for the champions, other than AJ Styles winning it.
Mm-hmm. We had another predictable winner, but this time it was a good predictable. Elias beat Woken Matt Hardy as for a qualifying spot for the Elimination Chamber. We knew that Bray Wyatt was going to get involved in this, but imagine if he didn't. Can you imagine? Would Matt Hardy literally make it out of Elimination Chamber alive in his condition? Sorry.
Back in a regular match.
Condition.
I mean, God, he would, but the thing is, I feel like Matt's so crazy to want to be the best. He would do insane stuff in that chamber that he just shouldn't be doing. You know?
He does not know when to tell himself to stop. That's the issue with him and Hardy. Him and Jeff Hardy. Like, just sometimes you don't need to do something.
Elias' first main event in a pay-per-view. That'll be cool.
Well deserved, man. If I would have told you a year ago, hey, I got to say, man, I never hopped off the Elias bandwagon, man. I liked Elias back in NXT.
You like the drifter?
I'm picking him in this match.
Yeah. Elias versus Brock at Mania.
Yeah, man. Give it to me. Garrett, anything? I mean, and I'll be honest, like the match itself, not that great. Are you all right with Wyatt and Hardy, Garrett?
I mean, it's gonna be the perpetual storyline for like 6 years. I'm okay with it.
They work well together, man. I mean, they're both freaks.
Who else do you put who do you put either of these guys against other than each other? I mean, if they feud forever, is it really gonna matter? I mean,
if theoretically we get the shakeup around the same time this year, which is their draft, so I'm just gonna call it the draft. If we get the draft this year when it was last year, I'm sure these guys will be feuding up until that point, and then one of them will switch brands.
Probably like they did with like they tried to do with Sammy and Kevin. Didn't quite work out.
They always end up back together.
I mean, that Orton and Wyatt feud went on for months, man. They had them team up and everything. They went the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
That was like a 6-month thing.
It looked like Wyatt and Hardy were going to work together in the Rumble. I thought that was a cool little spot that they had, throwing it back to the Rumble. They had a little bit of one-upsmanship. They both eliminated someone, and then Wyatt hit the Sister Abigail, and Matt Hardy hit the Twist of Fate. It was nice. It was good. The Intercontinental title rematch happened between Roman Reigns and The Miz. Roman was deserving of his title rematch. I didn't watch any of this match. I fast-forwarded through because we knew that The Miz wasn't going to lose. There's no way they were hot potatoing this back and forth.
Yeah. Really good match, though. If you were just in the mood for wrestling, really, The Miz has come so far in every aspect of his character. This guy, he can put on those big-time matches now. I really think
he's good.
I think he'll break those records with the IC title, and then hopefully this next wrestling year, we'll see him with Universal or WWE, depending on what they do with him.
I actually watched the Miz. I don't even know what it was on the network. Oh, it was
photo shoot.
Yeah,
dude,
that thing was awesome. It made me want to go back and watch that promo off Talking Smack to Daniel Bryan, and I went back.
I watch it again every now and then.
Like, it's so good because in photo shoot, if you guys haven't seen it, you should go watch it. I don't know if is it on the WWE YouTube page.
I saw it on YouTube. Yeah.
So go watch it. It's just him going through photos of his career and stuff like that, and talks about Vince being the only one. He said not a lot of people backstage liked him, but Vince basically strong-armed it and said, we're going with him. Everyone better be okay with it. And put him over Cena at Mania and stuff like that. And and then he was talking about how him and Daniel Bryan are good friends, but they push each other's buttons. And Daniel Bryan said something during Talking Smack, and it set him off. And he was talking about how Maurice was uneasy and how she kind of, if you watch the promo back on Talking Smack, when he starts getting fired up, Maurice just kind of Maurice is just kind of sitting there, and she is like going along with it, and then she's like, oh, this is getting really awkward. And she wasn't sure if he was going to like actually fight Daniel Bryan or not, and started backing off. And by the end of the promo, she's not even in the shot. She had dipped just like Daniel Bryan. Like no one wanted to be around him. Like it was awesome. So good. So Garrett, we knew this. We knew that The Miz was going to win this match, but it was a solid match, like Charlie said. I'll probably go back and check it out.
I really enjoyed it. I will say that if on both shows, that was the match I was like, whoa, of the men's.
So then the question is, who does Roman Reigns beat next week in his qualifying match for the Chamber, Garrett?
Interesting.
Bray Wyatt. I'm cutting it.
Bray Wyatt.
My prediction before he says it.
They've already had the feud.
Yep, I see it. They are both contenders. It would make sense. Wyatt won the title in the Elimination Chamber last year.
I don't know, actually. Could be a lot of people.
Definitely interesting. Heath Slater and Rhino faced the Revival. Revival won, thank God. And then they cut a promo after the match, basically bashing the fans, not like living in the past.
Trying to get themselves over. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Which is true, especially in Philly. Let's be honest. The big crowds that everyone says are the best crowds are also the most obnoxious ones. Philly, Orlando, usually Chicago is pretty bad. Some of the Texas cities are a little obnoxious sometimes. So it's like, it's one of those deals. I mean, they always try to get themselves over with their chants and stuff. And it's like, hey, shut up. I'm the performer. And the Revival, stuck it to them a little bit. Are the Revival getting a push, Garrett, or do you think this is just like a thank you for working hard and jobbing to some old people?
Could be both. It could be either or. I mean, I would like to think they're getting a push. I hope so. That's what it looks like to me, but it could also be the other way. I really don't know. They're great, but they won't really get a chance to show that until they get a decent partner to feud with, I'm not quite sure. I would really like to see them do well on the main roster, but they might just be too good. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Agreed.
Beyond SmackDown, personally, with the Usos.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, Charlie, with the other team in the match, Slater and Rhino, I mean, they definitely lost their luster. Rhino always gets pops because, he's in Philadelphia. But do you think after Rhino, eventually after this run, which seems like it's probably close to done, in my opinion, do you think there's anything left for Heath Slater, or do you think he's going to fade into
I think he might be on the chopping block, too, after this run. They've tried with him, man. It's just not – I mean, he's just not ever going to be over. Like,
yeah.
He was almost to that next level when they won that tag team champions. But how quickly that died, it's just you could say it was over then, but I don't know.
Which is funny because I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if you listened to the newest Talk is Jericho with Ellsworth, part 2. He just had another interview with James Ellsworth. Ellsworth said that last year, or I guess it was technically 2016, during the program where the draft happened and the only person not drafted was Heath Slater, it was not going to be Heath Slater. It was going to be James Ellsworth. But since Slater had been getting babyface reactions, they decided to give that spot to Slater.
Huh.
So that's kind of crazy.
I'm kind of glad they went that way with it because James Ellsworth in that spot I don't think would have worked as well.
Agreed. Asuka versus Sasha Banks happened. Fantastic match. Sasha literally almost died. And what's even worse, okay, so she went for her normal suicide dive between the middle and top ropes, and it looked like she wasn't. She didn't even attempt to do a normal dive. It looked like she was trying to make it look like a bad.
Yeah, she knew she was gonna get kicked.
Like what AJ Styles normally does. You know what I mean? Like, so every time Styles falls and
Asuka still kicked like she was going to kick her in the head.
Right. And you know how Styles will sometimes take bumps that look like, oh my God, that must have been an accident, but it wasn't. It looks like Sasha's trying to do that, but with her history of almost dying and almost killing people in the ring, she needs to take that one out of the playbook. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Second or third time I've seen her almost die on a suicide dive, to be quite honest. And let's be real, Ember Moon last year basically essentially hit a suicide dive out of the ring post, and it broke her arm. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that was a planned spot.
Brady and I were there.
I'm pretty sure that was planned. I mean, maybe she wasn't supposed to go all the way and land like the way she did, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was supposed to land on her feet because that's a spot I think I've seen before.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, kudos to Sasha because she tries to push the envelope. She tries to do things that are different, and she tries to be an innovator in the women's division. But, man, sometimes, like, it's just not worth it. Not on a Raw. Like,
they're really trying to get you to want to tune into Raw for the matches. It worked for this one. I mean, both those matches, the title and the women's, I was like, holy hell. I could tell there was something different in the water.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And this match felt big. Asuka versus Sasha Banks, like, it felt big. And it's like, okay, they're doing it. This also seems like something remember last year they did Charlotte versus someone. I
think it was Sasha.
Charlotte Sasha. They did it one last time, and it seemed like it was thrown together, and it was right before the Superstar shakeup. And then we saw Charlotte go over to SmackDown. And we figured when the match happened, we were like, oh, well, with the Superstar shakeup, that means, you know, since Charlotte's probably going over, they probably wanted to do it because they didn't know if they'd be able to do it. So maybe this is another case where they said, you know, between now and then, maybe Sasha's going over to SmackDown or something. So, you know, it could be a case of that, or, you know, well, we just don't see in the near future when you'll be able to wrestle, and we want to make sure that the fans at least get to see it once, just in case, because God knows how long Sasha Banks will be wrestling, because it could be over quick if she keeps trying crazy stuff. But outside the botched suicide dive, the match was pretty clean. Not a lot of botches and stuff like that. Asuka had Banks in the Asuka lock like once, like almost, and then Banks reversed over into a bank statement, and Sasha had the bank statement on Asuka for a solid 2 minutes, which is a long time to hold a move, and she got me for a little bit.
Especially
I was like,
if you're holding a crippler crossface, by the way.
Yeah.
That's an actual move that could kill you.
Yeah.
If you ring the nose, it's over. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And she was holding it and holding it and holding it, and Asuka was not tapping. But the longer they hold it, they're like, okay, there's no way they would hold it this long without her tapping, right? That's the whole point. And then they did a couple of the spots where she flipped over, got her back in the middle of the ring, and then held it again. It's like, oh, my God, Asuka's going to tap this time. And she just did not tap. Asuka ended up getting the Asuka lock locked in. The amount of times I said lock. Drew Lock, you know, keep an eye out for him in the draft. And then Sasha Banks ends up tapping and Asuka beat her. But, man, what a match, Charlie.
Absolutely. Drew Lock, QB1 2019. That's beside the point. Yeah, it was really good. I got to say, Asuka, every match with Asuka has meaning.
She does not need to speak in order to be
Because,
polarizing. And that's the difference. People say, oh, well, you know, she can't speak English. She doesn't need to.
Shoot.
Yeah. Whereas I think Shinsuke would benefit from being able to cut promos as a babyface. She definitely doesn't need a thing.
Other than knee face, you mean?
Yeah, literally. Knee face. That's all you need.
I thought we'll get to it, but
Yeah, we'll get there.
Stuff with Styles when they were going over their match. It was awesome.
Dude, Styles took a serious Kinshasa on the second one in that match.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. The Raw Tag Team Championship match happened between Titus Worldwide and The Bar. That would have been crazy if Titus Worldwide would have won. Not a bad match, to be honest. The Bar won. Garrett, would you like to add anything about it? Or
Yeah, I've been kind of like a little advocate of the Titus brand recently. I mean, I just feel like they've done a lot of just in the same way that I think Slater and Rhino definitely deserved the first SmackDown Tag Team Championships after the work they put in. I think that they deserved a shot here. I don't know if they deserve to win, but they definitely deserved a shot here as like compensation, like a way for just sort of being in the background and kind of being known that they're probably not going to be real prominent anytime soon, but they might be, you know?
Well, it's weird because how often do you see in the WWE someone that is so big and has the physique and has the mic skills and the whole package like Titus O'Neil and is a great person from all accounts outside the ring as well, not be a prolific champion, Charlie? What's wrong with it?
Dude, he's so boring.
Well, how many times did primetime players hold the tag titles?
They gave them a title. They gave him a title run, and the guy's just not entertaining in the ring. No one cares.
I think if Apollo Crews can carry most of the match and he just comes in for the
big tag, yeah,
I think they're good. And then we had John Cena versus Finn Balor. Interesting. This was a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. I'll be honest. Seeing how John Cena's thing is, he's a free agent and he's kind of a part-timer now. I went to bed thinking that Finn Balor was guaranteed to win this match, and boy, was I wrong.
No one's ever guaranteed to beat John Cena.
John Cena ended up winning the match, and John Cena's inserted himself into the Elimination Chamber match. God, I gotta say, Garrett, this is not the guy to beat.
I mean,
gimmick.
What? Anyway, I mean, I'm glad Balor's getting more exposure. That's a plus. Man, would it have been nice though to see tiny little Finn climbing up that chamber though?
I think the way everything was going in tonight's show, and then the night before in the Rumble, if Finn Balor would have beat Cena here, you would have felt that shift. But with Cena winning, it's like they're still holding on. Like they're like, not yet. We don't want to completely move on just yet. We still gotta, which it makes sense. It's just I wish it was not Balor the guy he beat.
Clearly, whenever they get the club back in the title scene, will be when they get Balor back in the title scene. I feel like they're gonna push them all at once. So whatever the Bar are doing right now needs to get through, whatever that is with Titus brand. Well, the Titus brand is kind of still, I mean,
not because now they beat them, so I don't even know.
They technically could move on from that, I'm saying, but I mean, unless that's what they want to move on to, I mean, that they could do that, I guess. I mean, clearly Finn's not fighting Brock at Mania.
No.
I really wish that Cena had beaten someone else here.
That's what I'm saying.
Coming to Fastlane, so Finn's not getting a title shot anytime soon. So,
at this point, I don't even think Finn might be on the card for Mania.
He might not.
The Strowman and Miz shit, excuse my language, is the way they go. So, I mean, theoretically, be Strowman, Miz, and Brock Roman, right? Where's Balor in that? He's on the pre-show in that Andre the Giant thing.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think, where's Cena on the card? Both of these guys. So
Cena's fighting Triple H. No, I don't know.
So on the pre-show.
Something that's interesting about this that Bleacher Report put in here said the one interesting element of the match came late when a frustrated Cena looked into the crowd and said he was just trying to go to WrestleMania because they were booing him so much. We saw this at Royal Rumble as well. When the final four came down and it was Balor, Nakamura, Cena, and Roman Reigns, and the crowd was booing them, this is starting up a new character, a new side of John Cena that we have not seen. If John Cena's character now becomes that he understands he's lost a step and he's willing to do anything just to get back into WrestleMania one more time every year, that could be very, very interesting.
As long as they don't retread the same plot threads that they did with Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels.
Well, Shawn Michaels got very interesting because Shawn Michaels said, I'll do anything. I'll put my career on the line just to face Undertaker one more time.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
To get to WrestleMania.
Oh, you mean against the Undertaker?
Right. He was willing. Like, he tried. I think he was in the Chamber that year and lost. He was in the Rumble that year and lost. He did all of it.
I got one for you, man. Career versus career match. Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena. There you go.
I go on better for you.
Figure out how to do it.
I think they run back because Garrett just sparked the light, man. I think they run back the Shawn Michaels storyline with the Undertaker, but it's not Undertaker. It's John Cena versus Braun Strowman with Cena's career on the line.
And then he beats him.
No. Strowman beats him, retires him.
And he beats Strowman and just goes back the next year, just like the Undertaker would do. Now it's Cena's Undertaker.
Cena's now the Undertaker, burying everyone. Well, that's a Cena thing to do. Not even.
Yeah.
But
the Undertaker literally buried people.
I don't know. Interesting. I want to know what they're doing. I don't think Cena's going to win Elimination Chamber. So, and Cena's big thing is he wants to. You have to assume he wants to break the record for title wins at Mania, but he's not going to beat Brock to do it. So does Roman somehow cost Brock a title match? Like, does he somehow cost him the title somewhere between here and Mania, and then Brock and Roman end up having their match non-title but then who does Brock get put in the match originally against in order for Roman to screw him out of the title so that Cena can go beat them at Mania? There's a lot of factors in not a lot of time. So.
Yeah.
All right, Raw grades. Garriet.
I'm going to give Raw a solid B+. I thought I'd better show this week.
Charlie.
I'm right there with him, actually. That's the grade I put in my head. B+. Good show. Really good matches. So,
yeah, I actually didn't see a lot of plot holes. I wasn't a huge fan of the opening segment, but after that, I think it was fine. So I'll give it. I mean, I can't blame them for me falling asleep. I mean, like I said, for that reason, I have to knock it down a letter grade, but I'll keep it right there at a B.
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura opens up SmackDown Live this week. Comes out and cuts a promo of sorts, and basically says he lists off all the people that he kicked in the face, and says that he need them in the face. And then he says at WrestleMania he's gonna knee AJ Styles in the face and win the championship. And the issue here is, like, the crowd's got to help out Nakamura a little bit, man. I feel like it's only a matter of time before Nakamura starts getting what chance and the fans turn on him. I was almost waiting for it to happen in Philly for them to what? The second he starts getting what chance while stumbling over his English, which he's really trying, I think it's over for him. And if Shinsuke can't carry this carry his own on the build up to Mania, because Styles single-handedly said, please give me Shinsuke Nakamura at Mania.
Yeah.
If Nakamura can't hold up his own in the build up to it, Vince will lose all hope in him and just have him lose to Styles. So, Garrett, what do you think?
It's great because, it's simple promos. But, like, the thing is, like, if he was saying this in good English, he'd be saying the same things. This is the kind of promos he cut in Japanese. It was like, I'm going to kick people in the face. I'm going to knee people in the face. I'm going to punch people in the face, Like, that's what he was. He was the guy, a former fighter who wasn't, I mean, what are we going to say Shinsuke Nakamura is like an intelligent babyface? No, I'm not going to say that. He's just goes out there and beats people up. You know what I mean? That's his deal.
Agreed. And Charlie, after he got done saying this, he gets interrupted by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they come out pretty much say that they deserve the title shot because they got screwed out of it again. He calls them losers, and AJ Styles comes out and proposes a match, and he says, "quote I say we turn this dream match into a dream team," and the people of Philly cried.
I thought it was pretty good.
But yeah, so that ended up setting up the match. Were you hyped for the match when you heard it, Charlie? Do you think it was predictable? What do you think?
It's a little predictable, but it was they had multiple storylines come out of this match and kind of go into it, so it worked.
And I like how they didn't automatically have to turn Styles and Nakamura, one of them, heel right away.
Yep,
and both face for quite a while.
The way this worked perfectly is this was not just a main event match that accomplished nothing at the end.
Does SmackDown Live have another pay-per-view before Mania?
Fastlane.
Yeah.
So we think are they going to cut? Are they going to have their contract signing on that show, do you think?
Well, no, AJ Styles is defending his title against either Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Oh, yeah, they're having a match next week. I forgot.
Yep.
Dude, that's going to be a killer match, I guarantee.
So Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, Rusev, and Jinder Mahal had a fatal four-way to decide the new number one contender for the U.S. title. Everybody and their mother knew that Rusev was winning this match, praying that Jinder Mahal was not going to win the match.
See, I was just anyone but Jinder. I was like, I don't care. I could see why they do him. It's just we need a break from him, man. We really need just a 6-month break from Jinder.
Agreed, but he takes 6 months off. There's no way he comes back to any sort of pop. He's got to go with whatever momentum he has.
I think Jinder's going to have heat for the rest of his career in WWE.
Yeah.
He will always get a reaction with that because of that title run. That's why, and now that the title run's over, it legitified everything about him. You know? Because now he's out there and we're like, oh my God, this guy, he's going to win.
That's true. Now it's always in the back of your mind that he could win. He's got the Jack Swagger thing going on. Former champ.
He will. Dude, that was always my favorite thing about Jack Swagger. I never understood the Jack Swagger hate either. The guy actually was good. I mean,
I'm sure Jinder will pick up on certain things over time.
But anyway, Corey Graves had the best line after Rusev won. He said he'll get his title match in 1 week's time on Rusev Day.
That's what I'm saying. And how cool of him to win this match on Rusev Day, man. That's awesome.
And then he's gonna get his title shot on Rusev Day too. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy how holidays line up every year?
Rusev Day calendars online, WWEshop.com right now.
Every day is Rusev
how
Day.
over Rusev is, they give him the title again?
They don't like to just go based on reaction, but man, I'm not a fan of Bobby Roode. We just talked about this. I would love Rusev to be champion.
It would also give them a little extended feud going into Fastlane and maybe Mania.
And it's always better to have the heel as champion than the babyface face.
Yeah.
If they want Bobby Roode to regain the championship at Mania, and they think Rusev can be the guy for him to face at Mania, then yes. However, I still think WWE is going to go Orton Roode at Mania. I feel like that's what it is.
Have they had the Charlotte and Bobby Roode tag match yet? Match thing or no? They haven't. I don't know. Damn, I'm not sure. But if they haven't had that yet, my theory wouldn't work. But I hope they do a double turn and technically turn Rusev face finally.
The mixed match challenge in the WWE.
Double E.
If they can carry this feud long enough to do a double turn, because I loved Bobby Roode as a heel more than I do as a face, and Rusev needs to turn face.
Yeah.
I think Rusev would go to that next just
double turn.
And then you have Rusev win at Mania?
Oh, my God. I want him. I want Rusev Day versus the Usos.
Rusev.
Dude, imagine it.
With the confetti coming down and Aiden English singing.
No, imagine it, dude. Aiden, he wins it this week, right? This next week. And then at Fastlane, Bobby Roode wins it back by cheating, by using the belt or something. And then they go into Mania with that. Dude, that would be...
Yeah.
I'd be down.
I'm in. Heel Bobby Roode against face Rusev with the manager of Aiden English, and then they get a big win at Mania. There's no way English dislikes this role. The guy's probably going to be cut from the company.
Probably. I mean, unless he does something
that
drastic.
Simon fiasco in last January.
Yeah. Crazy. The Usos came out to celebrate their win, the Uggos. And basically they just talked about all the people that they've beaten. People still seem surprised when, like, I see on Twitter, people will be like, Usos, one of the all-time greatest tag teams. And then people will comment back and be like, what are you talking about? Think about how long their longevity and the amount of championships they've won together. They are an all-time great tag team. And I hate how we live in this culture. Look at, like, Tom Brady, for instance. It's like, and LeBron James. How come people they refuse to say that anything that we see currently is greatness? Why is that always a thing? Why do we have to wait for people to retire to consider them an all-time great?
That's actually, you're spitting some hot truth here, man. That is very true.
I mean, I think it comes down to what a lot of things come down to, and it's like confirmation bias. People look at these facts and they interpret it whatever way they interpret it, and they say, I know for a fact that I can prove that what you're saying isn't 100% true, but I also can't prove my statement of who I think is the actual best of all time either, because it doesn't quite – I don't think sports, wrestling, and MMA and all that stuff, I don't think it quite equates out to the math that people put into it. Not always. Because who could have imagined Stephon Diggs would make the catch that he did and then in the next game get injured on, like, the first or second play of the game or something? You know?
Yeah.
The Usos have had title belts for 518 days, and each of their 5 reigns, so they got 2 with the technical Raw belt and 3 with the SmackDown. Their SmackDown title reigns have honestly carried SmackDown at some points this year.
And they also have the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 times.
Yep, so that's now technically the Raw one.
Oh, okay.
So, and they held that for over 200 days at one point.
So they're 5-time champions, 2-time Tag Team of the Year. They were both individually ranked as the number 25 and 26 wrestlers in 2014. They're FCW champions. Like, they've come up through WWE and everything. How do you not list them as one of the greats?
And if they did awards in WWE last year, they would have been Tag Team of the Year in 2017 also.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I really feel like they will be Hall of Famers.
It's just weird that no one puts them in that conversation. You see it sometimes with Cena, but you forget, like, how good the Usos have been for so many years.
Do you really want to see them in the Bludgeon Brothers?
Yeah.
I don't want it to be at Mania, though, and I'm afraid that's where they're going to do it. I would rather do a Fastlane and do a trial run, see if it goes well. Because the new Bludgeon Brothers wrestling style has just been destroying people, and I'm not sure how that's going to work in an actual match yet. We haven't seen it.
We have the same concerns about Strowman, though, and I think that Rowan and Harper are both competent enough wrestlers that if they need to soften their style a little bit because they're not going against jobbers, they can.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say the style they're wrestling now is even close to what they were wrestling under Wyatt at all.
Oh, no. It's so... Did you see that match? Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's probably the next thing, that match that they did. I mean, what the hell? They just destroyed people. Their moves look so deadly now. Like, they look like a legit team.
Who? Bludgeon Brothers?
Yeah, they look really good.
They've always just been great. It's just they haven't found the right spot, you know, and then Rowan got hurt, and then all of a sudden Rowan gets hurt, and we get to see Harper in these extended matches, and everyone was dying for a Harper Intercontinental Championship push. And then all of a sudden they don't go with him. He comes back, and then people just assume that him and Rowan are jokes. They're not, you know, they're good.
Yeah. I want to see that match at Fastlane if that's the match. I don't want it to build for 10 weeks to Mania. I want to see him do it at Fastlane too.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte comes out on SmackDown and then talks about how the Riot Squad kind of screwed her over. Looks like we're going into a Charlotte versus Ruby Riott probably at the next pay-per-view. It's about time she defends her title. So, and we know that that's not what they're not going to go with Ruby for Mania. So it's a good way to go. The real story coming out of this is that Carmella came in to try to cash in her Money in the Bank, but the ref screwed up and took a bump. And
she got a big reaction too.
Yep. I mean, they're dying for the Carmella.
Me and Charlie were talking about this earlier. I was so hyped when she brought the briefcase. I was like, dude, if this is it, I'm down. You know what I mean?
I would have been down in that moment. I would have been down because there's still 10, like you said, 10 weeks.
And listen, I don't want to say this would have telegraphed it, but I could see Asuka winning that belt off of Carmella at Mania.
Oh,
give Carmella maybe a defense at Fastlane against, I don't know, Naomi or something, or maybe against Charlotte. But I guess it would have to be against Charlotte. Let her defend against Charlotte, show that she's not nothing, get an actual title run, and then drop it to Asuka. I think that'd be great. But obviously that's not the way they're going. They could try this again, although I think it would kind of take away from it unless you were going to do it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A couple matches, Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. Just trying to fill time. I'm assuming I was asleep.
It was good stuff actually.
So I mean, I'm sure it was a fine match, but not really much storyline coming out of this. But it was good to get both guys on TV.
Ty is so good at selling. Like he's so underrated on that.
He made Strowman look like the monster that he should be looked at.
Right.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like I just want to see more from him.
Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to add about that one or no? Just
I hope a storyline comes from it.
Yes.
Somehow through the next weeks, maybe to Fastlane. Just give them something, man. We need a secondary feud. I don't care how it's done. Just
Bleacher Report says it doesn't seem like WWE has a plan for either of these guys. It felt like the result of creative realizing both guys are on the roster and throwing them into a match.
Yep, that is true.
But at least they're on TV. Like when people were going at Tyler Breeze online on Twitter saying, how does it feel knowing that you're treated like this? He's like, what are you talking about? I've been on TV for the past 6 months in a row, every week. How many guys can say that?
Not even the biggest stars.
It's true.
So, speaking of Tyler Breeze, Breezango faced Gable and Benjamin. Gable and Benjamin get the win, but once again, kind of nice to see Breezango and actually in a match. So
I don't know. They kind of missed the opportunity, but at the same time, the Usos and New Day feud was so hot you couldn't end it. But I hope they can get back to where they were. But with Rusev Day, who knows now? But it could be cool.
Garrett, we're finally seeing some personality out of Shelton Benjamin. It only took him 15 years.
It's very true. Yeah, I mean, I just want to see more out of both of these teams. I mean, we just don't get enough matches with them, in my opinion. I mean, I guess we've been getting more Benjamin and Gable, but are they still in the title scene? I mean, maybe.
I want to see Breezango go to Raw in this next draft.
Yeah, they'd have a bigger platform.
And we can see the Fashion Files back, and I feel like they might they'll do better there. I feel like it'll be good for them.
I would agree. It's getting a little and plus that's someone that AOP can debut against and beat up for a couple weeks in a row.
Also, if they do integrate Raw and the Cruiserweights more, Tyler Breeze could be doing matches in there.
Yeah.
Be true.
Yeah, he's small enough.
Because they can be involved in Fashion Files stuff with the main roster, but also have him wrestling in 205. So,
and have Fandango going after the IC belt or something.
I don't know. He'd still need to really.
They both need to get over again. And so it's a trek for them. So it'll be hard, but hey.
Styles and Nakamura, the WrestleMania opponents, teamed up to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Collectively known as Cammy.
We saw that Owens and Zayn had a little bit of tension because they beat up Ty Dillinger backstage right before Dillinger was supposed to come out at 10, and Sami Zayn took his spot. Owens wanted that spot, and then Zayn got eliminated pretty quickly. So Owens on Twitter went on, was like, yeah, Sami, I'm sure you got this. Because Sami was like, oh, I got this. So Sami did not have it. So Owens was giving him crap for it. And then Owens was being a little pushy with Zayn throughout the match. And then the big thing is Zayn walked out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And then they cut an interview, talking to him. They're like, "Is this friendship exploding?" Kind of stuff like that. And he's like, "It just saying it's all about opportunity next week," and saying how Kevin's had his opportunities, but it's his turn now.
So talking about that line stems from the fact that Daniel Bryan set up a match that because both of them said that they deserve a title rematch. He's like, I agree. You both deserve a title rematch. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna face each other next week for a world title match at the pay-per-view. So next week we'll see Owens versus Zayn. It'll be interesting to see which way it goes. Hopefully they just go out and put on a good match, but you know.
Yeah. Never know.
You hit on something interesting, Brady. The idea that hold on, it's coming back to me. It was something you mentioned that had happened before. Hold on. Oh, come back to me.
What?
There was something that you mentioned that I wanted to hit, that you hit on, that was something I was thinking about.
About Zayn and Owens, the title match?
Yes, it was something in reference.
Well, if you think
the Royal Rumble, with the Royal Rumble. Sorry, this is something that's always bothered me about the Royal Rumble. Why would you ever worry about being considered for the Royal Rumble and trying to get a spot in, or even announcing yourself or announcing interest, when you could just beat somebody up and get in yourself?
Right.
Yeah. Hey, man. Curtis Axel never lost the Rumble.
Stop being logical, guys. It doesn't work.
It'd be pretty true. True.
WWE doesn't listen to that. How many times do we have to mention it? All right. Anyway, let's get some grades out for SmackDown. Charlie, I'll start with you.
Wasn't anything too great. So, but it had good stuff. So I'll give it it was average, but had good. So C+. It's kind of what the grade means.
I missed most of it, but the one thing I always say we have to ask at the end of every show: did the show advance storylines? And hell yeah, it did. So I'll give it a B+. Garrett.
I'm gonna go there with you in a B+.
So there we go.
Good.
Couple solid shows. I mean, a C+ being the lowest grade between the six of us across all the shows. So I mean, that's good. And I know none of us would rank either pay-per-view as below a C+.
I give the Royal Rumble an F, Mean Gene.
Shut up and
Shut up in Roman, brother.
All right, listen up here, brother.
Whoa, Jesus, are you all right? Might have pulled something, man.
I know, man. I've been yelling at the kids all day.
The plaque.
Plaque. The only plaque on the teeth. All right. So.
Oh my God!
Dude, you gotta get the health teacher to let you come in at some point and just start yelling plaque on the teeth.
All right, Celebrity Big Brother debuts when, Charlie?
The 7th.
February 7th. So we are officially, as of tomorrow, or no, as of today, dude, a week from today.
Yep.
A week from today, Big Brother is back. Back with the flag.
Big brother.
We'll figure it, yeah.
And then we will be back in full force. We'll have a couple podcasts a week, and
get some plaque going.
Hopefully I won't be dead by then. All right. Until next time, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Click that little bell so you know when we go live. Ding! And we will see you next time. Peace.